Minifandom! All of it!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Minifandom. It's been a little bit of a hiatus for this highly rated show. Last guest was the great Sneakers, but I am back on the only network that matters. And today I'm joined by, I would say, the most famous and most well-known Minifan. He's an international sensation. He's the only Minifan that when I got back to Australia and showed my friends the photos, they were like, I can't believe you met the Be a Man guy. So I'm joined by Harmon. Harmon, welcome to Minifandom. I know you're a fan of the show, so it's great
Good. Thanks
to
for having
finally
me,
have
buddy.
you on. How are you?
Appreciate it.
So I know you're very humble, but you've probably heard me say this story. But I got back
Yeah,
here from
yeah.
my trip to the US. Flicking through some photos with a friend, and this girl was like
Was she hot?
freaked out that I'd met you. I mean, yeah, you wouldn't say no. Um, but yeah, you're an
Yo, it's funny
international
because you
phenomenon.
saw the Dandy Warhols, and they're all big fans. And the guy Jughead, who's the drummer, he lives in Australia now, and he says that's all they do is share the BMN videos with each other. And I'm on a text chain with the band, and they're always sending me BMNs, to come up with them. Yeah,
Excellent. You have to do a
set it up.
tour
I'll
to
come.
Australia. I mean, you'd fit in.
Oh yeah,
What was
sure.
that? Set it up, you'll come. Okay. I've got to set you up and I've got to set Kirk to come. But I think I can, like, Kirk wanted 200 fans in Australia, which I think,
Hmm.
I don't know how close we are. I think for you, I could easily
Oh, we'll
rustle up,
see. We'll see.
thousands of Be a Man
Everyone wants to go
fans.
to shows, but will they buy the ticket? That's the thing,
Um,
you know. So
true, true. Um, so, I mean, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the show, but this is my first Minifandom since I shared my personal update of my personal changes in my life, Harmon. You
yeah.
know, daughter growing up, separating from my wife, businesses, or losing the
Mhm.
network, all sorts of stuff. And I just thought, as a real man like you are, what's your advice for me?
Don't don't
What would you
don't
say to
complain.
me?
Be a
What
man.
if I
There's
was a
always
mate?
opportunity. Like you going through a divorce too? Okay, all right. There's an endless supply of girls.
Yes,
You're
yep,
a
yep.
cute little guy. You'll find somebody. Just every day gets better and better when you go through a divorce or a breakup. Kids grow up. That's the cycle of life. Before you were their chauffeur, now they don't have time for you. That's what happens. It certainly happened with me and everyone else that's had kids. Yeah,
It's good
don't wh-
advice. It's good advice.
yeah,
And
don't
I
whine.
do
Be a
see it as
man.
an opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. I did do a real, I think, a manly thing, Harmon, and kind of just embrace a little bit of the depression for a while. I just sort of
Yeah,
wallowed in it. Like,
of
that's
course.
very manly,
Yeah.
isn't it? To
Never
to
should
not really talk
bottle them
about
up.
your feelings,
Bottle them up. Yeah.
internalize them, bottle them up. Yep. Eventually they came out in ugly ways,
Displaced
which is
anger.
again
Yeah,
very
happens.
manly. Um and also, just on that, recently, VD and Montante did a Montante's World, and I jumped on, and they were really nice to
Mhm.
me, really nice about the show, and they said that they could see me being producer of KMS,
Yeah, you're
so that
definitely
was
you're
nice to
definitely
hear.
talented. I
So
mean, you're like a international superstar yourself. You could host any show. I mean, I think you're a talented guy.
wow,
You do a lot for the network, which I appreciate, and a lot of people appreciate. You're a talent. Welcome.
thank you, and I know you
I
love all
catch
the
as much.
network
Yeah,
content.
there's so much
You're a
out there now.
big
It's tough to keep
Minifan
up with it
content.
all. I mean, sometimes I have trouble just listening to the main show. But then, on top of that, whenever I catch up on that, I try to catch up on some of the shows too.
Mm.
I'm,
You do a
I'm
lot of
around,
driving
yeah.
around. Often
Yeah.
see you when you've got a road trip. You
Yeah.
load
Yeah.
up on
We
the
did
Minifan content.
me, John, and Scranton, and Tim and his wife were involved in a documentary we were doing on a rough and rowdy fighter. And I was in all three of their cars at different
Mm.
times. And all three of them had like the show on YouTube if it was in the morning. Just diehard Minifans. It was great. John sent me a message for you. It's two parts,
Oh yeah,
good
okay, here
and
we go.
bad.
Fuckhead.
Yeah,
the
I was
rat
actually
from
in Scranton.
Scranton.
Okay, so it says first
Poor
part
thing.
is tell Menace to go fuck himself for me, and then the second part is and then I miss him and I love him. So there you go.
Yeah, he's bad for my brand at the moment. He's having a
Yeah,
really tough
you
couple of
guys will
weeks,
work it
old
out.
John, running the network into the
Yeah,
ground. Yeah, absolutely. I still like him, but he's a bit of a scumbag. I mean, he's a liar. The latest thing was he was spoiling the Portland show. I mean, Johnny Loose Lips just running around telling everybody what's going on in the Portland show. He thinks now that he's running the network that he's part of this sort of inner sanctum. Like he thinks he's part of the show now. It's kind of sad because Kirk does not give fucking two shits about him or his network.
yeah,
That's
but isn't that
that's the truth.
Kirk's network that John's running? Yeah, he doesn't really.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm, absolutely. Yeah, he just doesn't care about it. Um, he's more worried about Kirk's got
of
bigger fish
course.
to fry, much bigger fish to fry. Um, so Harmon, I want to get into your sort of Be a Man story, the untold story, the rise of the Be a Man. But first,
Okay,
let's start with a bit of KMS stuff. I want to know your background. Where did you start? When or where
I
did you
was
start
driving
listening to
on a
Kirk,
weekend.
Seamus
I don't know.
Mayhem?
I guess when was he on the weekends? Like 10, 12 years ago. I was driving up to New Hampshire.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
and
how every
he
fucking
was edgy. He
Minifan
was like,
starts.
yeah, usually like
Matt
the guys on the
Carano.
weekend are all like, cookie cutter, right? But he was on and he was like saying shit about the
Mm,
Red Sox and stuff. And I was like, oh,
mate.
who's this fucking guy? He's pretty good. So I, listen to him, then listen. Then he ends up getting on with Jerry and John when it was. I mean, that was like the best show ever. So I listened to that all the time, and then
Mm,
followed him. We went through his shit, getting kicked off the network or whatever, and kept up with what was going on. He had his Enough About Me and all that, watched all that, and when he showed up at the Super Bowl, went crazy, and all that stuff. And then when he had his own podcast, it was great. So he had the first thing at Jack Abbey's. Me and the girl I was going out with, she listened to it too because we lived together. And whenever I was working out of the house, I'd have it on for 4 hours. So we were excited when he goes podcast.
mm.
So we go to Jack Abbey. There was a staging area to bring people to the vigil, and there was only like 8 people there. And at first, I was like, "Oh man, it's not going to have." I feel bad. There should be more people here. So I asked somebody like what was going on, how to get the vigil, whatever. Drove to the vigil. It's like hundreds of people there, and I was like, "Oh, this is good." So it was a great moment. Very happy for him. Happy for his success. He had afterwards, everyone went back to Jack Abbey's, and I've listened to every minute of every show. I don't know if I've heard every minute because a lot of times if I'm working out of the house, I don't take it all in mentally, but it's always on. So I've literally listened to every minute of every show.
That's amazing. So you were a bit of a sports radio guy before, and then you heard Kirk. You said Kirk, Jerry, and
Oh, that
John was
was
just the best
yeah,
show ever.
it was
That
unbelievable.
was the
The great
best.
chemistry they had, and I mean they had three
Mm,
different personalities. They had the crazy man Kirk and the
mm,
gruff guy Jerry, the articulate one John. It was a great mixture.
yeah. What I thought was great about that show was it had a real energy to it and it
Yeah,
had a real pace to it. You wanted to listen to the next segment. It was always felt like it was moving. There was always stories they were
yeah,
chasing. It wasn't just three guys sitting back sort of talking shit in the
yeah.
morning. It had a
Yeah, it showed
buzz
in the
to it.
ratings. I
And
mean, it was
you know,
like
the
one of the top rated shows in the country for a while, if not the top at one time.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And so were you a Barstool person before he
No,
moved across to Barstool?
no,
Like
and
would you already been following Portnoy?
ironically, me and Portnoy from the same town, and I never met him.
Right. Where's that?
It's right north of Boston, but I never met him. But one of my
Right.
brothers coached him, I think, and my other brother's the high school baseball coach in that town, and knows him. But I didn't meet him until I was in the Barstool office like 3 years ago. And I never really followed Barstool too much, but now I do, obviously.
Yeah, right. I was a bit the same. I had obviously being in podcasting for a long time, I've kept a close eye on the podcasting industry. So I'd listen to bits of Barstool. Unsurprisingly, I'd listen to a lot of Caller Daddy talking about blowjobs and stuff, Harmon. Um, less about Pardon My Take and all that. And then, so when Kirk made the jump to Barstool, I was thrilled. Like, I was so happy. Podcasts are such a freeing medium. You don't have any program directors above you telling you what you can and can't say. You can do what you want. It can be
Yeah.
as long or as short as it wants. It doesn't have breaks. So I was so happy when he made the jump. And apart from a rocky start in that first 6 months, now Kirk and Barstool have never been
No, I know
closer. It's a
he
match made
really
in heaven.
redeemed himself with them, and he's made a lot of good alliances and friends, and he's like in the top 5 guys in the company right now, in my opinion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so I want to get back into the KMS stuff, but I think it's I want to ask you. So where did the Be a Man's? When did the Be a
About
Man stuff
5 years
start?
ago, my we had a comedy thing my brother started called he's Mr. Monday. He's talented. I tell
Yep.
people he's the one that has talent in the family. I'm good for like 10 seconds,
Yep.
So he's Mr. Monday. Yeah, if
So
you
he's
look him up,
Mr.
he had a
Monday,
Monday show that used to be live
right?
streamed to like 100,000 people or whatever, and he had a live show every Monday night, and he was like a Johnny Carson type of guy, right? He had like Lenny Clark on and Christine Hurley, a lot of local people, and
Mm,
they wanted to start getting segments for like 30 seconds or less because they wanted to appeal to the younger people. So I came up with Be a Man. It was going to be called Do the Right Thing or Be a Man. And I wrote a bunch of stuff down and I said it, and then at the end of it, I'd say Be a Man. I'd say something, and it started out pretty serious at first, like pay your child support, be a man, things like that, don't abuse pets and, all righteous stuff like that. And then I
mm,
started throwing in some funnier ones. And they started putting that out once a week on this show, and people loved it. And I never had the initiative to do
mm,
anything, because I was working a full time job and everything. But they took it to the next level when they stopped doing the show. They started putting it out every day. They put it on TikTok, and like all of a sudden we had 100,000 followers. And I legitimately, when they said it's on TikTok and you have all these followers, I thought it had something to do with a watch. I had no idea. It had something to do. I legitimately had no idea what it was. That was like a clock or a watch. So, and my daughters are coming up to me and they're like, "What are you doing? Our friends are following you." And my other one, they couldn't believe, they were like amazed, and the other one's like, "Oh, it's like a dream," And it's like, "Oh, what the fuck is it?" I don't know. So it went crazy after that, and it really took off. Before that, I was like the doorman for the Monday show. I used to, get like $50 a week they give me, and I let people in, sit them down because you just see 40, 50 people, and I help them clean up afterwards and stuff, and then it just went crazy. So from there, we just got bigger and bigger. Went to Instagram, and we're over 8 million followers now. We just went over 8 million followers between all the platforms. Yeah, it is.
that's crazy. I mean, I remember it like, and I'm going to admit, I remember like you tagging everybody in these tweets when it must have been when the show, 2019, 2020. Um, I remember just getting all these tweets tagged of you doing Be a Man stuff, and I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then I maybe muted your account for a little while, but it's unmuted now. Don't worry. But that's such an incredible story. So then, like, as it starts getting more popular, you're up to 8 million now, but like, what was that ride like? That first, especially the first couple of years when you start hitting
Yeah,
millions
well, it
of
was
followers
crazy,
and
and
views.
then we got approached to do. Okay, so it got big like the November before COVID. So when was that? 2020,
Yep,
2019. Okay, so that's
2019,
that's when that's when they put
2019.
it on TikTok, so that's over 4 years ago, right? So
Mm,
um, yeah, so
mm,
okay, so it just exploded, and we started to get doing cameos, and then we got some brand deals and started doing some other appearances and things like that. And eventually we did the show at the Wilbur in August of 2021, which we sold out. And it was crazy. Yeah, it was a Thursday night in the summer,
that's amazing.
and you were just able to take your masks off. So it was a hot night. People went fucking nuts. It was crazy. It really was crazy. And they would just like we were playing videos before I went out of stuff, and the place was going crazy. And I said, oh, it's going to be a good night. So it was a very good night, fun. I don't remember. I don't remember. Well, I don't do much
What did you
because,
do?
like I said, I'm good for 10 seconds. So we had like three comedians go on, and they would then we show videos like uh, band be a man's, the best to be a man, stuff like that. Then we did like a
Yeah,
lot of fan interaction stuff with different contests, like drinking contests, roast beef eating contests, manly stuff like that. And then finally I come out and
good.
I be in a couple of skits and do some Q&A, and you know it was stuff like that because my partners, Joe, him and my brother are my partners. He's like, if you could do stand up for like 30 minutes, we would make fucking millions. I'm like, I never could do it. I don't
Mm,
have the desire to do it, but I never could do it. I just don't feel like I could do it. It's not me, So
mm,
to do a show, there has to be a lot of
yeah,
accompanying pieces. It's usually like 11 people altogether
mm,
because we have a couple of broads out there, and I have the comedians, a couple of people helping backstage, and have an MC and all that.
mm.
Mm.
Love that. I like that thought of the good-looking girls running around. But so, do you write
I
all
write
the
I
jokes
write like
yourself?
90,
Like,
probably like
are you
90%
there
of them.
with?
The ones I write, yeah, all the good ones. No,
Yeah.
but some of the best ones have been ones that they've written in the office too. They've come up with some good ones. You know.
Mm. And what's it like, so, as Mama Kay would say, one of the more, the more
Mm.
senior Minifans, what's it like becoming famous, like,
Yeah.
older in life? Like, all of a sudden, you could have gone, say, to one of these events you do and been Johnny No Name, 4 or 5 years ago. Now you got, women running up to you showing their parts and stuff. Could they,
It's
what's
not
that
bad when
like?
they do that. But yeah, it's just it's a weird thing because
Yeah,
I've
but
always been like I worked in white collar, but I always kind of had like the blue collar attitude, like and hopefully maintain that until I die. Um, but I just pretty
mm,
much I'm not a loud guy. I'm pretty much reserved, manly, But I don't, yeah,
mm,
stoic exactly. So I don't really
stoic.
embrace it a little bit. I'm not used to it. Really not used to it. But it's good. I appreciate everybody that's a fan. Everyone's pretty cool.
I guess as you get older, it is a little bit easy to keep certain things in perspective. Like, if you're a young guy, all of a sudden, you get excited. Like, if you got 5 million followers and you're 20, you might let that get to your head, and
Mm,
all of a sudden you think you're king shit and your ego goes out of control. But I think perhaps when you're a bit older, you're a bit wiser, and you realize, there's ups and downs, and
mm.
maybe don't get
Yeah, I
too
see a
high
lot
and
of
don't get
young
too low.
influences, especially in
Um,
Boston. They get like full of piss and vinegar, and it's just like bad mouthing different companies and stuff
mm,
like that. And it's like I'm just neutral. I just stay the course.
good, yeah. I mean, I had a Yeah, I had a dose of fame when I was really young, like about 13 or 14. And, like Kirk would say, child stars, they get fucked up. And like when you get a bit older, as you say, you're able to just
Hmm.
sort of
So
take it
what
in,
were
like,
you a
okay.
child actor or
And then not,
really
I was a child
nice,
actor. Yep. I was in commercials, in plays, did a
nice.
few commercials for the US. Um, but then it does fuck you up. But now I just think in your situation you're in a good spot to really embrace this, because if you can
Yeah,
keep it in perspective,
I try. Like I said,
then
I
you
try to
can
stay the
really enjoy it.
course. I don't really I don't go out, as to be a man guy unless it's like I'm going to get content or it could be good content or it's work because it's just to get to.
Mm. Well, just walking down the street slapping girls
Yeah,
on
but
the
it's
ass
just
can't
like
be
it
man.
gets to be invasive of my privacy too. A lot of because people don't realize that they mean
Right.
well, but they'll run up and scream "be a man" in my face and shit like that when I'm not expecting it. So I just kind of I go out in the down low now if I
Yeah,
can,
right.
you know. In the,
Yeah, right. That famous, you have to go out with the
mm,
dark sunglasses and the
you
hat.
do around
Yeah,
especially around
right.
Boston.
That's
But
crazy.
like I said, everyone means well and they're
Mm,
cool, and they all because they see me everywhere, they feel like they know me. And I guess I probably been the
yeah.
same way if I saw someone famous. Not that I'm famous, but if I saw somebody, that was a good athlete or whatever, you feel like you know them, or if you see an actor, you feel like you know them because you see them.
Mm, yeah. So how frustrating is it for you then, as the Be a Man guy, watching the Kirkman show and listening to it, and then you see all these fucking losers like Mutt and Gus and all these people that can't get a job. I mean, Mick, Coleman, Justin, all these, fat loafs that just sitting around wasting their lives. I mean, as the
I
Be a
don't.
Man guy, it
You know
must be
what? I worry about
frustrating.
myself. I don't worry about anybody else. Worry about yourself. Be a man. And I think everyone you mentioned, I think is pretty
I
cool
like
too.
it. And
I mean, you have an extra grind with those guys, or yeah, yeah.
no, no, I didn't have an extra ground, but Mutt
I know
needs
it's
to sort of
well. I got
choose
to admit
life.
it.
Maybe I
That was
mean,
a little
be a man,
frustrating, but
get a
like Kirk said, it's like, who am I to say what he should do with his life? I mean, it seems like a natural fit with Barstool. I actually was with Portnoy at Rough and Rowdy a few weeks ago, and I almost was going to mention something about it, and I was like, it's none of my business, because they were talking about horse racing, you know. So, but
mm. What's your relationship with Barstool then? Because you said you're in head office, you said you're with Portnoy, you do Rough and Rowdy. I mean, do
they
they
have me.
use
They've
you for
had me
stuff, or
record a lot
what's
of
the
stuff
sitch
over the
there?
years, and I'm in New York a lot. They're only a couple of blocks from Penn Station, so and there's a lot of business opportunities in New
Mm.
York. Plus, my girlfriend lives out there, so I'm out there quite a bit. And we have like we
Just one girlfriend at the
just
moment?
one girlfriend out
Just
there. Yeah.
one girlfriend at the
So
moment?
so so
Wow, that's
we
crazy.
we have like an allegiance, and the promoters like to have me at these boxing things because they feel like I'm a therapy dog because all the boxers are all Be a Man fans, So I talk, I walk out with some of them, and I see some of them before, I talked to them before and stuff like that. So I think the next one is actually
Great.
in August in Massachusetts somewhere. Yeah, yeah,
Right, so you'll be there for sure. And so you said you were sitting with Portnoy,
yeah.
how do you get on with
Just
him? You get on
small
with him
talk.
well?
Nothing. He had when I saw him, he had a lot on his mind because he just got off a jet. I was actually talking to Big Cat for a while, and he wants me to come out and check out the place in Chicago. And there's a Rick's has a strip joint out there, so I'm going to try to coordinate it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new place in Chicago. But he was Portnoy was he has so much coming at him and on his mind. That's why I didn't bring anything up about Mutt. It's not my business first of all, but
Mm.
you know, but he's just a nice guy. I see his parents
Because I
his
would have
parents
thought
live one
you're
block from my mother.
go on.
Yeah, so I've seen Mike and
Okay.
his mother once in a while. No,
Does Mike
no, but
always have
I
toilet
asked him
paper
about that.
attached
He
to his
said
shoe,
there's a
or was
big
it just
debate
the one?
about that. So it could have happened, but it's debatable. So he's a nice guy.
Def Yeah, definitely happened. Because I would have thought your Be a Man content
Yeah,
fits really
it's
well with
natural. They're all
Barstool,
fans.
like,
Everyone over there
yeah.
most of the people are fans over there. But I think it's just right now, just doing what we're doing
Wow.
here, and um, like I said, stay the course. What we're doing here, and down the line, who knows? I actually working on a couple ideas with them now that I really can't get into, but who knows? Something might happen down the line. Yeah.
Okay. And what happened to your
Yeah, that's
podcast? You started a
we
Be a
were going to
Man
record it
podcast.
last week, but I was sick. We haven't been in there in a couple of months. It was just I do it with John Fiore, who was on The Sopranos. He carries it. He's incredible because I don't, I'm not very glib and talkative, and he's just funny. He should be a stand up comedian, but he carries it, and he was busy with stuff, and it's a lot goes into it. We're putting it out twice a week, And then we went to once a week for the last session, and it's just a lot of
Yep.
work for Tonzo, who's the guy who's always laughing. A lot of editing. So
Yep.
I'm gonna going in there on Wednesday, and we're gonna record again for the first time in a few months, and it'll be coming out like probably every other week for right now, just to keep it out there because people
Yep.
miss it and they're asking for it. So yeah, it was doing good. Yeah, we
So
were
it was doing
getting.
well.
I think the first one because people go back and listen. I think the first one we did just got over 300,000 downloads.
Mm.
It keeps on going up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll
So,
have to check it out.
mm.
That's great because podcasts are really hard. The big issue with
A lot of
podcasts is
competition. Yeah,
there's just so many
there's
of
millions
them.
of them.
There's just
Yeah, it's
there's
tough.
millions of them, millions and millions of them, and it doesn't. If someone's not listening to your show, it doesn't mean it's not good. It just means might not have found you, or there's competition for time. Whereas the Be a Man stuff on social media, like that's right for this generation where they
Yeah,
one joke,
exactly. Short and
bang, they're
sweet.
out,
That's what the kids
move
want.
on.
They're on their phones and they're scrolling. It's like,
That's me.
yeah.
That's me, Harmon. Short and sweet. Um, so you hardcore
Mhm.
Minifan. Um, which live shows
The
have you
only
been
live
to?
shows I've missed, I've missed one Sacco show. I didn't go down to. I didn't go. What was it, Arkansas? Or they
Yep.
did the one on Mississippi. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't.
Oh
I didn't
yeah,
make that.
yeah,
I
Mississippi. Yep.
the Portland show last year. I had a ticket for, and I didn't make it because I was in Baltimore, and I got in at like 7 in the morning. I was just like all screwed up, so
Right.
I didn't go. But I went to the
Okay.
last Portland show, which was incredible. I think it was the best show yet that I've seen. I mean, I
Mm,
went to both the Wilburs.
really?
I think I once in a while throw a list out there of all the events, and I've been to. I mean, it's like 40 something events. I've been to
Mm,
50% of them. I've been to all the live shows I've made, like
wow.
that have been in theaters.
We
Yeah,
had a great time at the
fun time.
Wilbur. We had a great time.
I almost
We saved Tim Richards from
I almost
falling off
fell
the
off.
balcony.
No,
Didn't
no,
someone almost knock
I
you
was
off?
obviously I was shit faced, but that particular spot where we were sitting, there's a step there. It's not marked because a couple months later I was at a show and I
Yeah.
was sitting right to the right of there in the first row, and I was watching people walking with their drinks and they were falling. They were tripping. I was like, this should be like a light there or something, you know. But there's a step, obviously
Mm.
you haven't drinking a lot. That didn't help either, but
Yeah, it was. So we
yeah, I
almost lost
spilt
you to
everything all
Tim.
over
I
his
remember
wife.
that. So did you go to the
Yeah, it was a
Plymouth?
Plymouth. Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you go to the Plymouth disaster
Yeah,
survivor?
I was in
You're a
the
survivor. Well
third
done.
row, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Minifan events are great. I mean, I've
Hmm.
only been to the Wilbur one, but
Yeah,
there's such a
a lot of
good
good
vibe.
people.
I know there's
Yes,
everyone's
and I
like a
think you
family.
feel close to people who meet right away because you have a lot in common. Usually like sports, you like the show, and a little fucking crazy, because we're all dented cans.
Mm. Yeah. Do you find it uncomfortable though the way Mama Kay is around you? When she comes, she said on her show she'd love to. You're one of the Minifans she'd hook up with if she could. She said you're one of her. You're her
Yeah, she's a
KMS
good girl.
husband.
No, we
Is
make
it
out once in a
uncomfortable
while,
for
nothing
you?
serious. She's cool.
Yeah. Are you into
Me,
feet? Are you into
I
like
like
feet?
small feet. I don't mind small feet. Yeah,
She's-
small, nice feet. I
Okay.
don't like big feet on a girl.
I don't know if Mama K's is small
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure.
or nice. Anyway, I won't make you feel any more uncomfortable about Mama K. She's definitely
Yeah, no, she's
watching.
good.
Hello, Mama K. One of
She's from
the
the same.
great appearance on this show.
Our
She's a
brothers
great
went to high
lady.
school
She
together.
gets
Yeah, yeah. So
okay. There you go. Well, what do your brothers say
no,
about her when she was
I don't know if you knew
younger?
her. He knew the brother.
But
He didn't. He doesn't know her because we have a roast beef place in
okay,
Lauderdale by the
all right,
sea, and she stopped in, and he didn't remember her. She stopped in like a month ago, but they talked about
right.
their brothers.
Yeah. She gets a lot of
Yeah, she's a
unfair
good girl.
shit
She's
on
cool. She's a
Twitter,
good
doesn't
shit.
she?
I mean, she's with it.
Mm,
She's good. Whenever you
yeah,
see her on a show, she's good. You know, she's like a natural.
yeah. I heard a room. She is. I heard a rumor after the most recent Portland show from somebody who was talking to a lot of Minna ladies, and this the inference from this person was that the Minna ladies think think the show is about them, like like Mama Kay or all the other Minna ladies, like they think they're much more important than they are in the show, which I get that, but I think that's a fairly common thing among Minna fans. Like Steve from Gloucester's perfect example. Kirk mentions you a few times, and you think you're all of a sudden king shit. It goes to
Well, I
people's
don't find
heads.
that with those girls. There's not many of them there, as you know, but they always come dressed to the nines, and they have a good time and hang out.
No,
And they're good girl. They're the type of broad you want to
absolutely,
hang out with. You know.
yeah, definitely. Lauren always looks amazing. I've never met Joe
Oh
Diaz, but
yeah, yeah. Joe's
she
nice.
looks
I
incredible
saw her in
from 2,000
Delaware.
miles
I
away.
met her.
Yeah,
I can tell you
yeah,
funny. I can tell you a funny
sweet
story
girl. Don't
about
know what she's doing
how
with her.
gullible Minifans are. We Before the show, we went to a bar. Before the
Yeah,
Delaware show, we went to a bar. So people were getting ready to go over the subway, and I was like, "All right, guys, I got to go home. I don't have a ticket. I'm gonna drive back to Boston." And everyone believed me. They thought I was actually gonna. I had a ticket to. I was like, these fucking people, shit faced and gullible. They're like, no, no.
definitely. All right, now I want to put you on the hot seat. I want you to rank the producers since the show started. So we've got Steve Robinson, Cullinane, Gus, Coleman,
Okay,
Justin. So who's been
the
your? We'll
best.
start with the best, and we'll just work our way down. Who's been your favorite?
I'll tell you, I like them all. I mean, even though Gus had his problems, yeah. But as far
No,
as
you
the
can't
best
say
was
that.
probably Steve Robinson, and then Colonnade probably in
Okay.
order, and then Justin is like the associate producer,
Yep.
so you gotta put Coleman as number three. But he's only been there 6 months, so I think he's doing a good job. And I don't get the hate with him,
Yep.
and he seems to be growing into it. The Portland show was great,
Right.
no major hitches, so that's kind of you get a tip your cap to him and Justin for that.
Okay. So I mean, a few things on Coleman. I want to circle back to Stephen Cullinane, but with Coleman, so he said he's doing a good job. What's your expert beer man opinion on his
I think
sexuality?
he's heterosexual. Yeah,
You think he's heterosexual?
yeah, because I
So
know
no
I know a
gaydar
lot
going
of
off. Okay.
guys his age that don't have a girlfriend and they're kind of awkward about it and stuff like that. They had one girlfriend or two girlfriends and they're just like in a slump. So I'll take them out with me some night. I'll get them laid.
But you good. But you also must know a lot of guys who have repressed their sexuality. They buried it down deep. Do you think Coleman could be one of
I don't
those
see it.
guys?
I don't know him that good, but I don't see it. I think he's
Okay.
yeah. I think he's
Well, you're an
straight.
expert. You're an expert. Okay,
Yeah.
this is great for Coleman. I mean, this is great for his brand, Harmon. I mean, 8 million followers endorsement. That's huge. That is huge. And take him out and get him laid. Then what about though his sensitivity? I mean, sometimes you got to be a man and you got to take a punch. I don't think Coleman could take a
I think he can
punch.
take a punch because Kirk's come down on him a lot about different things, and he's still hanging in. And he just smiles and nods his head, and he doesn't. Yeah,
Gets
yeah.
all
Well, I
pouty.
mean,
Gets
I
all
think with that
pouty and
generation,
gets this.
they're sensitive about a lot of stuff, anyways. The younger generation. But I think he handles everything fine. I'd love having him and Justin there. You know,
Mm, yeah. You mentioned the younger generation. You worried about the next generation, Harmon? I mean, should we be
I mean, it's
concerned?
it's like a crime to be a man nowadays. It seems, shouldn't be a crime. I
It's
mean, you look at
true.
the blue collar. I mean, men.
No, it
That's what
shouldn't
built
be.
this country. That's what's keeping it going. You know,
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Women should be
exactly.
women. Men
Yeah,
should
it's
be
like
men.
yeah,
Let's not get
exactly.
fucking crazy here.
How are things in Australia with that? Is the
So
younger
Steve,
generation sensitive down in Australia? Or? Yeah, so it's
Oh,
worldwide.
absolutely. God, it's so sensitive. And actually, I mean, not that this is related, but Sydney is like
Hmm.
one of the gay capitals of the world. So, um, it's over here. It's
Well, it
wild.
must be
It's
nice because
wild.
that's where all the gays
Um,
go. Wherever it's, you go
right?
to Gunkwood and down the Cape and stuff. That's they always go to the nice places. So it must be beautiful there.
Yeah, Sydney's fantastic. Yeah, very stylish. Or even like the straight guys in Sydney. We benefit from having gay men around who can we can look at and go, oh, I should be wearing that type of
Sure.
clothes, or he smells nice. What's he wearing? That kind of thing. Make us,
Yeah, sure.
men better.
Hmm.
Better, more stylish men. Speaking of gay men, one thing on Coleman, I just have to get off my chest. And Harmon, you don't have to interfere with this, but last, I think Friday's show, that fucking loser Coleman played Alex Bennett audio again. I'm telling you, Coleman wants a job with Alex Bennett and Content Kim. I'm so sick of Alex Bennett. I'm so sick of her. I don't know why he's listening to her. I don't know why he's playing her audio. She's not a Barstool anymore. Like, he just needs to fucking move on. Like, clearly he wants to go and work for Mean Girls, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Coleman. You won't get the Kirk stink
Yeah.
off you now. Like, that's the thing. You'll never get a
Yeah,
job
they're
with
doing
Alex
their own.
Bennett
They're
again.
doing their own thing now, right? They're not with
Um,
Postal. They left a couple of years ago. Yeah, they're
yep,
doing pretty good.
not at all. And then the idiot just plays this random audio for no reason. I
Maybe-
mean, very annoying. All right, so Coleman, you've got
Yep.
third on your list. Why did you make
I just
Stevie
thought
number
it. I
one?
just thought he ran a
What
tight
did you like
ship. All
about
the shows were
Stevie?
good, and I mean nothing against Colony. I mean, if I'm giving like
Mm,
Steve a 95%, I'd give Colony like a 90. I mean, Colony was great. He's just more
mm,
relaxed than Steve, which is nice. Steve is great. I mean, he's a great
lazier.
guy, but he's a hardliner, and he ran a tight ship.
And
Yeah,
you'd like
definitely.
him as a real
Yeah,
man,
you
carries
know,
a
he butchers
gun,
animals, goes hunting.
you know.
Takes a shit in the woods. But
Yep.
yeah, and Colony was great. He's like great kid and did a good job. But it came to a point where he had to get out of there, I guess. And I think Coleman's doing great. He's been around for 6 7 months. He's
I
growing
don't think
into it. He's not familiar with the world like Colony was.
he's.
And Steve kind of helped. So
That's true.
he's doing. I think for someone that hasn't been exposed to the world that long, I think he's doing exceptionally well.
Wow. Do you think Cullinane? Why do you think Cullinane kind of dropped off so much at the end? What's your
Um,
reading of that? Because
Yeah,
Cullinane
I don't know
started
if there
hot and
was
then
friction
just
between him and
faded
Kirk
away.
behind the scenes. I mean, Kirk's a perfectionist, and it shows on the product he puts out. It's a great podcast, and maybe it got to
Mm,
Cullinane after a while. That's why I have no idea. I don't know what went wrong,
yeah, I
but
don't know, but it
I
was
know that
very strange.
the stuff happened with the showdown in Plymouth, and that was kind of like the beginning of the end. So
Mm,
ran his course.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it did run its
yeah. I love
course. Were
Gus.
you a
He's
Gus
a great
guy?
guy. He had his problems there. I think, best thing probably happened to get him out of there. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's good content and he's a
Mm,
sweetheart of a kid. You know, I think one thing I think
absolutely.
Coleman
I mean,
maybe
if
could
he
have
was
did
your
or Kirk is just if they had some kind of a checklist of what they expected from him, and they just like made him stay on it and go through it every day. I do that in my own life because I got a lot going on. So when I get up in the morning, I have a checklist of
mm,
shit I have to do every day, then additional stuff I have to do, and I just go through it. So that helps me. I don't know if it would have helped him. It
how
was
long's your
about
list? How long's your
I
list
don't have
every
it in
day?
front of me, but there's like 7 or 8 things I do every morning, and then when I'm on the computer, and then I have like different tasks, work stuff I have to do, and some personal stuff too. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, it makes things
I'm a
easier.
list guy too. I'm a list guy too. But that's where I think good for content, but bad
Yeah,
for people that work there. I do think they're missing like a really strong
hmm,
leader in KMS, like me, for example, Harmon. Someone that can say to Gus or a Justin,
Yeah.
This is what you need to do today. This is what I'm expecting of you.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
your expectations as the job,
Mhm.
whatever that is. And I also think they're missing someone as well who can like not stand up to Kirk, but Kirk's very quick to sort of go, um, I don't know, like he Kirk's sort of negativity can stop stuff. Like I think sometimes you just got to do stuff and just like
Mm.
really push, and that's what I think they're missing. They need like a strong
Yeah.
leader.
Well, I mean, if one of them leaves, I'd love to see you over there. Yeah, yeah, you'd be great. You'd be great.
Very
You're
nice
like
of
I
you,
said,
Harmon. Very nice.
you're a very talented guy. I think.
I mean, my most recent example of where I think the producers go wrong is so. I know you're probably not into this because it's not very B Manny, but it was May the 4th on the weekend. It was Star Wars Day, so it was almost an anti Be a Man day. But on that May the 4th, I had actually reached out to Justin and sort of said, "Can we do a special Star Wars fan show, like an hour, maybe talking about Star Wars? Get a couple of Minifans on that are huge fans, and something that the Star Wars fans who listen to KMS
Hmm.
can really enjoy.
Yeah.
Like a proper a show." And
Uh-huh.
Justin's response was for him and Coleman to slink into the studio and sit on their fat ass all day watching 9 Star Wars movies. Like, how is that good for the fans? How does that make the show better? Where's the creativity there? I mean, I don't mind these Barstool watch alongs, but they're not the fucking be all and end all. Like, every now and then you might get a viral moment. There was none from that Star Wars stream. And I just think sometimes they just float around rudderless, and they need someone to say,
Maybe
"No,
because you're
that's a
from the
stupid
competing
idea."
network, they didn't want to take you up on your idea.
It's true. It's true. But very disappointing. Very disappointing. Um, so that's where I think they sort of just flounder a little bit. They need to
Mm.
be a man and like have some direction, Harmon. Like you know, as a man,
Yeah.
you got to take
Control your
control of your
destiny,
own
be a man.
life. That's it. Um, all right, now from producers to favorite third chairs. Um, I'm a Montante guy, and surely, I mean, Montante is. I mean, he's almost like the
Yeah, he's a good
quintessential
guy.
be a man guy.
He's practically my cousin. That's what we say because we're both Italian. But yeah, good. He's good. Yeah, I like Mutt. I think Mutt's the best. Yeah, I really do. Yeah,
Yeah,
smooth.
you think Mutt's
You
the
know.
best?
Yeah.
He is very good
And Mike
because
is
there's
Mike considered
also,
third chair?
especially recently.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I think we all know
Hmm.
he's the best. He's the best. He's clearly the best. The thing about the thing about Mutt is though, which we've had recently, is with this whole job stuff getting shit from Kirk. It really reminds me of Kirk and
Yeah.
Jerry when they used to shit on Mutt. I mean,
Flashbacks.
we're back there again where
Yeah.
Kirk just, it's very funny. It's very funny. Um, okay, so Blind Mike, Montante.
Mick.
Are you a
Yeah,
Mick
yeah.
guy?
Nuts.
You a
I
Mick?
mean, I
Do
love
you
it. I
like
love the
Mick?
craziness. I love crazy people. I love crazy things. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's up there.
Anyone you tune out? Anyone you're like, oh, not
Anybody
seeing
I
the Lords
wouldn't
again
want to
or
see? Is that what
whatever?
you asked? Um,
Yeah, anyone you've been in there as a third chair and just been like, oh, they're not for me.
no,
Tim
Tim's good.
Richards.
Everyone brings something. It seems, It seems everybody brings something.
Mm.
Yeah, no,
Kirk
he's
can bring
great
something out of
as far as getting
everybody.
information out of people. He'd be a great district attorney, cross-examining people
Yeah.
the way he gets the questions out of them.
Mm. Would you ever like to go in there? I mean, there's been every KMS fans base who wants to be in there's basically been in there, except poor Kane. Poor Kane is
Yeah.
the only one who's desperate to go in there that won't. But I mean, have
I,
you ever
if they're
thought about
desperate,
going
need
in
someone,
for a
I go
show?
in. I have the best game ever too that I bring with me. I had the night I saw the Dandy Warhols was
Okay.
the night of the home run list that Como was doing, and I was gonna head in after the concert to hang out with Coleman. I had food, blankets, all kinds of stuff, and I brought the game I made up. And after the concert, I was backstage, had a couple beers with him. I drove to Watertown. I figured he'd still be doing it, and the place was, yeah, they were gone. Yeah, so
Never
I came
gone.
close. I came close to getting in there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've been in there once. Great moment. Well, I think Harmon to KMS would be good. I mean, are you prepared for Kirk to try and like peel
Yeah, there's
back the
really
onion of Harmon?
I'm not a
You know,
complex
that's
guy.
what he
It's
likes
like
to do.
what you see is what you get, so there's not much to peel back. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I go on I've been on a lot of podcasts since this whole thing has started and
Mm.
kind of used to being on them. This is
Who's the most Who's the most famous person you've met since you've started doing this? Yeah, like, are there any of those moments where you just go, "I can't believe I'm fucking meeting
no,
him,"
it's weird because most of the people
apart from
like Big Poppy, well, I knew Gronk anyways because we played softball with his brother. So I've met him before, but I met Big
okay,
Poppy last year. He was cool. But a lot of as far as famous people,
wow.
like who Big
Did he ask
Poppy?
you for money?
Is he broke?
Yeah,
Oh, oh, jeez. No,
apparently
no, he was cool
gambling
because I
debts.
I wrote down "Say un hombre" on a baseball, and gave it to him. That means be a man in Spanish. So he was all excited. Um, but it's I don't really follow comedy, and a lot of famous comedians are into be a man. And my Joe's like 20, 15, 20 years younger
Mm.
than me, and he follows it on to be like, this guy, my partner
Who
Joe.
does?
Yeah, yeah. So he controls the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Instagram and
right, yep.
TikTok accounts. They don't let me near it. They don't give it a password. They don't trust me. So, um, but he's interacting with a lot of people. So he was like, for instance, a couple months ago, he's like, "Oh, this guy, Tom Segura is a big fan." And I was like, I really heard the name. I had no idea who he was. I didn't even really know he was a comedian. So we went into the
Mm.
show and um, saw his show was up in New Hampshire. It was like sold out, 12,000 people. We went backstage, just us with him, and he was like a real good guy. We recorded "Be a Man" together. Um, yeah, I mean, but there's a lot of
Excellent.
famous comedians like that are "Be a Man" fans that I've met that are cool. Shane Gillis, he wasn't that big when
Wow.
we started with him. He was played before 200 people in Rhode Island, but he was a big Be a Man fan, so we went down to see him. There's been a lot of people. And like I said, I never heard of them, and not because I'm like above them or anything. It's just I don't really follow the current comedy. You know, I mean, I do now since I meet the people. I'll,
Mm.
I'll keep an eye on what they're doing.
Well, you are like a comedian now,
I think I'm I
even
think I'm
though
more of
I know you probably.
I'm more of
I
a
was, I was,
character.
I was.
I'm a character. I'm not a comedian.
Go on. Maybe you're not a
Yeah.
classic comedian, but you do jokes. I mean,
Hmm.
that's what comedy's based on. Um, Blind Mike would be so
Oh well,
jealous
Blind
about
Mike
you
is
meeting all these comedians. God,
what's his name?
he'd
Gillis
be
is like
really
his
jealous.
biggest fan. He loves Blind Mike because Blind Mike. Yeah, when Blind Mike when
Really?
Gillis got banned from Saturday Night Live, like Blind Mike stayed by him and they talked. And I actually a
Mm.
couple of years ago, Blind Mike was at one of the shows and we went backstage and hung out with Gillis. He loves Blind Mike. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. Uh, Speaking of comedy, and well, you mentioned Saturday Night Live. Did you
No,
watch
but
any
they
of the
had it
Brady
on. I'm
roast?
gonna watch it maybe after the Bruins game tonight. Um, they're playing a lot of clips from Felger. You listen to Felger 98.5 in Boston sports talk? I know of them. Yeah, they've been
I
playing.
mean,
They play clips. Yeah,
yeah,
they play
I've
clips.
heard
Sounded
know of him. Yeah,
unbelievable. I
I
mean,
don't
it
listen
sounded
to
like
it.
I can't believe the shit that they were saying. And I've on a couple of text chains I'm with my buddies. They're like,
Mm.
and my family, like, did you see that last night? They're going on and on about it. Yeah.
I got to say, it was pretty good. I watched it. I watched it on delay
Oh,
last night. It was
yeah.
3 hours
Did
again,
you like it?
probably half
Maybe.
an hour too
Yeah,
long.
yeah. So I mean, being from
I loved
Boston
it. It
too, I
was,
mean, the people around here, like, they're all talking about it. It's crazy. I'm sure it'll be part of.
but I mean, it
Oh,
made
yeah.
worldwide headlines. It made. I mean, it was yeah,
I mean,
front
some of
page
the
of all
stuff they were
the
saying is
like the
like
websites
they
for
said
the
everything but the F word. I heard, right? They said the F word.
they said the F word. They
Really?
said, yep. Not they said the
Okay.
cigarette version, the short
Yeah.
version. One of the comedians did. So yeah, it was brilliant. Gronk was wasted. Um, Nikki Glazer was fantastic, looking hot. But yeah, it was very good. And then, God, I tried to watch Saturday Night Live afterwards with Dua Lipa because I'm a massive Dua
Oh,
Lipa fan. But that was just so
oh
bad. I
yeah,
mean,
I
Dua
agree.
Lipa is so hot, but the jokes were just terrible. They were just
Yeah.
awful, awful, awful. Um, what about Minifans? So you mentioned before, so you're good friends with John from Scranton and Tim Ridgels. Are they sort of two
Yeah,
of your
like
closer
Tim from
Minifan buddies?
Canton, and get like Gig and TJ guys in Maine, and they're all cool. Like, we got a bunch of. I probably got like
Mm,
50 phone numbers in my phone of Minifans. And I'm on a lot of different text chains
right.
with them too. And they're all, like I said, you feel like close with a lot of Minifans because you have something in common, and you're probably a sports fan and a guy, and politically think the same, maybe lean the same way, and have a lot in common. You know.
Absolutely. But I think as well, it's just Minifans are sort of the only people that really relate to you about this crazy podcast world that Kirk has created. I mean, and sometimes when I go out with people and they say, "What's been happening?" I just want to say, "Oh, you never believe it. Mutt still doesn't have a job. Montante just made 60 grand off crypto." Like people,
hmm
muggles don't really get it.
Yeah, it's a good world. It's a
Um,
fun world to be involved in. He created
yeah.
quite the scene for us all. And he's a great.
Any Minifans you really
Did I want
want to
Did I
meet
want to meet?
next?
Uh, um,
Yeah, you haven't met.
I feel
Yeah,
like I've
haven't
probably
met.
met. I mean, like the last I met Mutt for the first time at Portland, and met Tom Shattuck for the
Oh,
first
yep.
time. Um, I think I pretty much met everybody I wanted to meet.
Unlucky.
Um, yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad you chose this network to
No, I
come
appreciate
on.
you having
I
me.
really appreciate it. Anything you want to get off? We've got some listener questions here, but anything you want to get off your chest about the show?
No, I mean,
Any
I love the
burning issues that
show.
have
I mean,
been
obviously, some episodes
worrying
are
you?
better than others, like any other show, with anything in life. And I'm grateful. It's free, so
Yep.
I try to support as much as I can. I've tried to, even if I know I'm not going to go to a show, I'll grab a ticket or whatever, and I'll give it to somebody and support it
Yep.
monetarily and financially as much as I can. And just be loyal. I fucking kill for Kirk. If someone, if he says he needs someone dead, they'd be dead. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, be a man. Yeah,
Whack
I'm
someone
a,
for
I'm a
Kirk.
loyal
That's
motherfucker.
that's a great
You know,
endorsement.
I mean, that's how I was brought up. Just be loyal. So that's how I am.
Mm. That's a quality
hmm
Kirk really values. Really values, despite the fact that he took the network away from me for no reason. I thought he'd would appreciate my
You
loyalty
guys are
a
working
little
out.
bit more
He
than
loves
that.
you. You know he does.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
we're very close. The the actual
You
split,
guys. I
ironically,
see
has
a
brought
merger. I
Kirk
see
and
a
I
merger
closer
in the
together.
future.
Um,
Yeah.
I do too. All right, now let's get into listener questions. Shark Minahan. It seems the Be a Man guy does very well with the ladies. How many times has he slayed puss in 2024 and with how
So
many
he wants to know
different women?
how many girls I banged and
That's
how
a very
many
personal
times I
question.
ejaculated in their vaginas,
Yes.
it,
Yeah, this yeah,
including
this year.
hookers. Um,
Yeah,
okay,
they all count.
5. No, one
Wow.
hooker.
Okay.
Yeah, one hooker.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's a very one
yeah.
hooker. Still counts. Good. Do they make you pay though? I mean, I'm surely they're just like Be a Man
No,
guy
I
gets
don't.
it for
I don't go in
free.
to be a man guy. I go in undercover. It was a time.
Good stuff. Uh, Well, we're getting real here. Montante will love this. He'll be jerking off. Um, okay, Michigan man. Who needs to learn to be a man more? Coleman, Justin, or Mick?
I think they're all from that younger generation where they're more sensitive than when I was growing up.
Mm,
So I think
right.
most
Yeah.
people that age could grow up a little more and be more of a man. I mean, that's how this thing
Yeah,
started because I have a lot of nephews who are like in their 20s and 30s and very
yeah.
sensitive
And you
and
go,
they're
these
fucking
guys are
like they're like
pathetic.
good
You're like, these
looking
guys are
kids and they're
pathetic.
they're built as tough kids, but they fucking share their feelings and they cry at the drop of a hat and I don't know. I just don't get it, but maybe if I was that age, I would be the same way. I don't know.
Mm.
But that's kind of how that started. Like, it all
Yeah,
started
like
out like I went and I recorded serious stuff like, pull your pants up, be a man, pay your child support, be a man. It was like shit that I saw that was going on that they don't like seeing. Don't cry,
mm,
be a man. And then I started to put funnier ones in there, and that's what made it work. But that's how it started
it's a good thing.
because it's because of the way.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with
No,
repressing your
you
feelings
press them
and
until
not
you have a
dealing
heart
with them.
attack.
I just
Yeah,
eventually they
yeah,
go away. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
or you explode and go and shoot people. Either one. Um, but I think though, if I'm going through this list
hmm
because I'm not letting you off this easy, I think we can rule Justin out. I think
hmm
Justin has his issues, but he comes from a good, his grandfather was a cop. I think Justin
His father's a cop,
actually
right?
is a man.
I think his
He's
father's.
he's he's. I think he's. I don't
I
know.
think his
I know
father.
his
I think his
grandfather.
father's a
Maybe his
cop.
father
Yeah.
was as well, but there you go. So Justin, I don't think needs much work on being a man. Mick, though, I mean, he needs to just harden up. Like he needs to be a man, harden up, get over this Crohn's, get over
He's
this
he's nuts.
lady,
I love it.
uh,
Yeah, I mean,
get
I know
back to
kids like
work,
him. In the past that they get that way with girls and they drive themselves nuts. The
mm.
best thing was like when the trip was
I think
announced.
Coleman.
What he said when the trip was announced. Yeah, that was
Oh
that was
yes,
beautiful.
because if you're a man guy, like if your girlfriend says she's going away, you don't have to
Yeah,
pay for it, and you don't have to
yeah,
come.
I get a
You're like
vacation. Yeah, I
fantastic.
get a vacation, right?
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mick needs some work. I think Coleman though. I think Coleman could do with some mentoring. I think he
We're
should. He
gonna. I'm
needs to
taking him
head
out.
to a
Me and
event
me
with
and
you
Tim
in
Riggles are
Boston one
taking him
night.
out. I got a lot of connections in South Boston. Take him
Please
to
take
South
him to a
Boston.
strip
I have
club.
my nephew's a bouncer in there, and he got a lot of connections at all the clubs.
Mm,
So I think him and Tim Riggles talked about we're gonna go
yeah,
out take him to Boston some night with us. Yeah.
good. Because there's a really strong rumor, and it's. I mean, it's hard to argue with that. Coleman's still a virgin. Like he's not
What about
gay,
his
but
girlfriend?
he's
Yeah, but he was
a little
banging
bit
the
more
girl in
religious than
Minnesota,
we
I
think.
imagine, right? Oh, he wasn't. No,
I don't think he was
but
banging her. I
didn't he?
don't
Didn't he
think
go
so.
out to
I
Minnesota?
don't. No, 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 no way.
Yeah, it was-
Yeah, but I think he's the marrying type, but so
yeah,
maybe he got a bit of action, but I don't think he's sealed the deal yet.
yeah. Well, we
So
have
maybe you
we're,
could make
we're
that happen
we're
for him.
currently 4-1 or 5-1 on our fantasy baseball team. We won again last week. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're doing it with him, are you?
yeah. So we're
Oh wow! So you and
yeah
Coleman
we
have a
take
good,
yeah yeah. I'll
good
take care of
relationship. He needs it. Trust me. All right. Woke stool. Since KMS became more Barstool oriented, have you noticed that you listen
him.
less?
Okay.
I'm going to take this one to start. I never listen less to the show. People misconstrue some of my feedback as I don't like the main show. I always love the main show. I always love listening. I will rarely listen to a main show less than twice. I'm not Pat Ford who listens to it like 6 times on every different app, but I will always watch it live, usually if I can, now that the times have changed. And then a bit like you were saying, sometimes you're out and about and you miss stuff.
hmm
I'll always put it on again and I always hear stuff the second time. So I have criticisms of stuff around the show and the producers, but the actual show is always pretty good. I mean, I don't mind the Barstool stuff. I think it can be overplayed, but generally Kirk makes it good.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know about
don't.
you, but I
Yeah,
I
I
don't have
mean,
criticisms of
I wasn't a big Rico fan before when he was calling in and stuff. I mean, it was like it just to
no,
be
he's
to be
just
annoying. But
terrible.
now I'm a big fan of his. He won me over. I told Kirk that at one of the events. Well, I'm a big Rico. Yeah,
He won you
I
over.
don't know.
How?
I don't know what it was. It just I just got used to it. I think he was I think he was calling
Big
less,
news.
maybe, and his calls were better. But at first, it was like every five
Mm,
minutes or whatever, and I was, kind of get tiring sometimes to me. But now I think he's great.
yeah, yeah. I should be the show ombudsman where I get to just vet all this stuff. And because I think Rico last week, like, they're in the middle of something, they're in the middle of a conversation, they're in the middle of a bit, and then Rico just calls him with a stupid fucking phone call, get his fat face on television again. He's the biggest scumbag. I mean, you heard all that stuff, Harmon, where he was going after people's partners and wives, and then someone mentions his name and he cries like a little bitch. I mean, he's not a man, he's a fucking
Yeah,
pussy. He's a
I'm not
fucking
up on
little
all that
fucking
stuff. Like,
pussy. And I would love
I'm
to
not up on all the
1v1 him.
behind the scenes stuff with that. But yeah,
Trust me, I'd love to 1v1 that fuckhead. Um, Fred O'Reilly, can we all agree Coleman and Justin are both virgins? It's now become embarrassing the way they talk about chicks. Well, we've spoken about Coleman, but Justin a
he
virgin?
likes jail, man. He
It
likes
wouldn't
girls though. I
surprise.
mean, I think he's been there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
do they
I
like
mean, how old
him?
is he? 30?
20. No, I
Oh,
think he's mid to late 20s. But he famously, he likes to talk about his small penis. He always puts out there that he has a small penis, which is like, that's fine. Like, no judgment or anything. But maybe, I wonder if at the moment the show's riding with two virgin producers. In which case, you need to take them
yeah.
both
No,
out,
yeah,
Harmon.
definitely.
You need to take them
I've been out.
fucking both out.
We went to a thing, a comedy thing last year. I met like Justin and Blind Mike and a bunch of other Minifans. Craig Coney was there too, and I hung out with those guys. And he was
Poor thing.
we had a nice little buzz on Justin and was talking about girls and stuff. So I think he's definitely banged before. I would think.
So
Yeah, yeah.
okay, that's good. Thank goodness.
Huh.
So just one virgin. Woke Stool, another one. Has Barstool Chicago ever produced compelling content? And there's underneath a tweet of Big Cat and some guy in a red balloon
I
hopping
haven't
around.
I haven't really kept
Um,
up with what's going on in Chicago. I think when I go out there, I'm going to be on the yak again. But I haven't really kept up with
mm,
when Kirk was doing the free throw thing and stuff. I watched that, but I really haven't kept up with the content
mm.
out there.
Yeah, I'm not really into that Barstool stuff. I'm a bit more, I'm KMS centered, and then I've got other interests, and I don't really get into it. As I said before, I think this stupid thing of just enabling enabling guys to think that just sitting down watching sport is a job is dangerous. And then the whole Barstool Chicago office, it's just a playground sort of for content, and Big Cat set up this dream, and he just lets people do whatever
Um,
they want. And I think the only person that could pull it off is Big Cat,
he's the best. He's
because
such a
he's
good
the
guy.
only one with that.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
And he's smart. He thinks quick. Like, he can
Hmm.
pull it off, but I don't know. It's not for me.
Um, it's quite the place. So Penn probably paid for it, right? Yeah. So yeah,
I
that's
think they
nice.
paid for it
Yeah, it
before.
looks pretty cool.
Worked out well. Absolutely. Well, that's all the listener questions.
No.
We didn't get too many, which is good. They left you off easy. It must mean they like you. Normally, you only get a lot of questions if they don't like you. So we always end Minifandom with, a sort of pop culture segment. What have you been watching? What have you been doing? I'll start.
Hmm.
I'll start. Give you time to think about it because I didn't prepare you. So, I mean, what have I been doing? I said, mentioned at the top, Harmon organised for me to go and see the Dandy Warhols band in Sydney. They were touring. They love Harmon. They're huge Be a Man Guy fans. Had a great time at the show. It was not far from where I work. Met the band afterwards. They all knew me as the cricket guy. You must have told them about me because they all remembered. So super great concert. So thank you. Um, Also got to see some movies recently. So on the weekend, I saw 6 Star Wars movies on the
Oh
big
well.
screen. They had 2 marathons, so the first 6 movies, and I think it was the first time I've seen the prequels on the big screen for about 20 years,
Hmm.
and it was a magic night. I've
Nice.
got to say, magic night, Harmon. And finally, I did see the Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and a bit of a biased take because it was filmed in Sydney. Obviously, I really enjoyed it because you got to see, all the
Hmm.
sights of the beautiful city that I live in. Fun movie. If you want to, it's perfect date movie. If you want to, take someone on a date and have a bit of a laugh, I would definitely go and see the Fall Guy. But apart from that, that's sort of all I've been doing. Challenges is good too. Um, and it's not really a threesome.
Yeah.
Like Kirk's like going on about him and Jeff Dillo watching this whole threesome. It was like Zendaya kissing 2 guys at once,
Oh.
and then the guys start kissing. And I don't know if Jeff and Kirk were kissing at that stage. I don't know, but um, good film though. Not great film, but very another fun film. Good date movie. What does the Be a Man guy do for pop culture? Well, apart from
Well,
Star
right now I'm
Wars.
watching The Crown. Is that yeah?
Oh yeah. Well, this is bad for you, Brad. This is fucking
What, The
bad for you,
Crown?
Brand. Should we take this
I, di-
out?
I didn't. I didn't say. I
From
didn't say I liked
Yeah,
it.
we can re-record this.
Yeah. But now I'm committed
Okay,
to it. I
you're
got to
just
watch
watching
it
it.
all the way through. Um, what? Yeah.
It's a
You never
great
saw
show.
it?
I don't watch it, but it's a great show.
No.
No,
Mm.
I'm not into that royal shit.
Watching that. I haven't. I'm trying. I don't think I've been to a movie this year yet. I went to a bunch. I was seeing a girl that
Right.
was into movies, and she moved away. So, but we were seeing like 1 or 2 movies a week, like for 3 or 4 months. So I saw a
Wow.
bunch. Um, I mean, it's just been, yeah, it's just
I
nothing
like
like
going to
being
the
in front of the
movies.
big screen. You know, um, just like
Well,
yeah. Well,
Crown is not what I expected.
I'm like in the middle of watching like 20 different shows on like Netflix, HBO, or whatever. And I'm just on this one right now.
Mm.
I just got done watching The Pacific, which was good. Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
fucking
me
love
too.
that. I watched that recently.
No, never saw it.
Had you seen it before? Oh, so good. And
Yes,
because
saw that.
obviously you've
I
seen
saw
Band of
that right
Brothers.
before. Yeah. So usually, um,
I mean, those
yeah.
two, those two
No,
are amazing. Have you seen the
I hear it's
third
awesome
one,
though.
Masters of
I
the
haven't
Air?
seen it yet. Yeah,
Oh,
my
it's
father was in.
fantastic. Those
He was
three are
stationed over in the
incredible.
Philippines and Japan, so he saw. No, he was in World War II.
When? After the war?
Yeah, yeah. So he
You
was.
kidding?
Yeah, he was over there,
You
and
saw action.
so he was in, I
What
guess,
did he do in the
infantry.
army?
He saw. He never really talked a lot about what he
Really?
saw. I never talked about killing anybody, but I think he saw a lot of shit.
Do you know what
No,
battles or
he came back.
campaigns
I
he
know
was
he had
part
a
of
bunch of.
in the Pacific?
I don't know. My brother might have him, but he came back with like a bunch of Japanese memorabilia, like flags, and bayonets, and rifles, shit like that. I don't know
Wow.
how you could get them back to America back then. It'd be a lot different trying to do it now. You know.
You just brought it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
brought it
right.
back with you on the ship, probably on the boat. That's a crazy story. So the Pacific must have really resonated with you, like
Oh yeah,
going
crazy.
through all the islands, Pelaleo,
Hmm.
Guadalcanal, Pelaleo, Okinawa, Iwo
Yeah.
Jima. I mean, that must have seen what they went through.
He
Thinking
was
my
young,
dad
so
went through that. That must have been
he didn't
fucking
see that much action.
really
He just
impactful.
saw maybe 6 months worth or something, and then the war was over. But he said even
That's
like
enough.
after the war was over, they'd be in the chow line, and it'd be like some Jap would come down from the mountains and get in the line and try to blend in and eat. And they all like beat the shit out of him or whatever. And they saw a lot of them kill themselves. A lot of
Yeah,
Japanese who were left over jumping off the buildings. But
yeah,
he showed me I should put it online. There's a picture of him like leaning against a half a wall, and in the back of him is all like rubble, like the whole. It must be one of the places they dropped the bombs.
yeah.
It's just like all rubble. It's incredible. He's just like
Mm,
he's like this. Yeah.
wow. Well, that's great. I mean, the Pacific, you
Yes,
obviously saw the bits in Australia
I
where
was
they
thinking
come
of
to
you.
Melbourne. Um,
Yeah.
Thank you. But you love that show. And do you know the movie The
Yeah,
Thin
when it
Red
came, what was
Line?
like
Have you
in
seen
the
that?
'90s or something that came out.
Yeah, because that's about the the action in
Hmm.
Guadalcanal, which is before your dad was there, but still a really good insight into the Pacific War. And you have to watch Masters of the Air. I got to say, like, I
Hmm.
reckon the Band of Brothers is the best, then Masters of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Air, and just behind that
if
Pacific.
it's anything like the other two,
Um,
it's great. I'm sure. I just disconnected
yeah,
my
it's very,
my
very
HBO
good.
because I've never watched it, but I'm gonna turn it on maybe in the winter time.
Masters
Oh,
of
it
the
is.
Air is on
Okay.
Apple TV. Do you have Apple TV?
I
Yeah.
may have it. If I do, I never watch it. Oh,
Oh
good.
well, if you don't, I'll send you my login. Um, well, Harmon,
Thanks for
it was
having me.
great to have you on Minifandom. It's great to chat about your fandom, your career.
Thank you.
I just want to
Appreciate.
say congratulations. You're a great guy. You deserve every success coming your way. I sort of, I think you give off a lot of good energy, and that's why you get a lot of it back. So, congratulations. Look forward to
Thank you.
seeing more and more success of yours. Hopefully, we can
Yeah.
bring you down
Yeah.
under
We'll
for
talk about that.
a world
Yeah.
tour. Be a man down under. But you take
Thank
care.
you.
Thanks for coming on Minifan. And listeners, thanks very much for joining me. We'll be back soon with another Minifan. Thanks for supporting the Real Network. And Mama Kay, wipe that fucking chair dry.